Go find some tapes. Made you some tapes. Okay, guys, welcome back. To another stream. We are giving this a go again this week. I think last week's video went well. I have the setup a little crispier than before. I'm also really surprised at the quality of Virgin Media upload with wireless connection. I'm streaming right now through the Wi-Fi that is one room away from me. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Anyway, welcome everybody. If you've been sat in the room for a little while, just tuning in, thanks for being here. We're going to get started real soon. We have quite a few things on the docket tonight. First things first, we're going to be jumping and diving into some Destiny straight away. And I'm going to go ahead and change scene here. I don't know why I'm still on stream starting. I always like to try and give people time to do the things to do. So we'll leave this up here a little bit longer while I talk to you. But grinding for gear and all the good things that we need in Destiny to prepare for Edge of Fate, followed by, depending on how the timing works out, the lore video that I've put together, which is a 2-hour masterpiece, if I do say so myself. All about the Nine. It's a complete history of the Nine explained, full details. We're talking timestamps, deep lore dive breakdowns, lore readings. I think this is the most amount of lore readings I've ever done in any video whatsoever. Marcus, good to see you. Yeah, looking forward to July 15th. Absolutely, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm gonna go ahead and switch scenes right here real quick. Yeah, I'm excited. Really can't wait to see what Bungie has cooked up, and hear more about the story, hear more about the lore. I'm really looking forward to that and what they have in store for us. It's just going to be a really good time. You know what I'm actually going to do is see if I can... Okay, this is cool. Excellent. So I have OBS. Let me just close a couple of tabs here. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. I have had a somewhat decent week. Can I make OBS smaller? Yes, I can. Okay. Because it really doesn't need to be this big. The browser page should be more important. Anyway, I'm not going to faff around with that too much. Hopefully that didn't throw some stuff out as I was like adjusting things. But yeah, as you can see in the corner there, I have the Destiny 2, Destiny 2, I'm spazzing out. The Bungie page up. I have a notepad here with a pen. I need to actually grab a pen for a start. That would be really helpful. Yeah, to make some notes about today's live stream, in case there's anything I need to miss. Last week I felt like I was like running at the breakneck of speed, so I have a full bottle of water here. I will stop to have some water. Not that you needed that announcement, but anyway, let's see where we are in Destiny at the moment. I have quite a bit to do. I'm also sorry that I have Discord noise coming through. Let me go ahead and mute that, because that's going to get really annoying, I know, for a lot of people. So Discord is muted. Apologies for that. Yeah. Give me a minute to reply this message. No worries at all. Welcome. Okay, so, right, let's get into this. So this is my Guardian. She's been a splicer since forever. Here's all my gear. It's not really amazing, but it is what it is. It be what it be, right? So, yeah, also let me know if you like the stream setup. I've gone ahead and tried to keep things simple. That's really, honestly, the Psalm Lab channel has really been not just about like simplicity, but also about faith and encouraging people. Because I'm a Christian and I believe that Jesus died for us on the cross, and so everything on this channel is very much like stripped down and stripped back, which is why my lore experiences are super like uh they're deep dives, but also like I try to let the content speak for itself more than like me do speaking, even though I know you'll listen to my voice. Anyway, all that stuff is all well and good, but yeah, let's get into some gameplay. I got this hand cannon last week. It looked good because it has accurized rounds. The weapon can fire long range distances, because not a lot of hand cannons have long range and then also have high impact. So I thought, okay, this might be a good roll. Enlightened action, dealing damage improves reload speed and handling. I like that. I like that there's like a progressional function to the hand cannon. I also thought it looked nice. I currently have the photo finish shader on it, which is my favorite shader. It doesn't really have... I was hoping that this would change color. So I have this same thing on my Guardian's cloak here, which is what allows these splicer lines to change different color, and also the same on the boots. On what are these again? Yeah, transversive steps. I spec'd heavily into all this gear, but I've stopped because I know that things are about to change in Destiny, and so there's good in that, there's bad in that, there's all sorts of stuff in that. If you have any questions about Edge of Fate and like how Armor 3.0 is going to work, I realized last week I kept saying 5.0. I have no idea why I did that. But yeah, it is what it is. So the plan is to first I need to check my inventory. Okay, I have no engrams. Good, because that gets annoying. I really dislike having a whole bunch of engrams and then I have to go get rid of them. Also, let me know if the game volume is okay versus my voice. I have Destiny turned down for the most part, but if it gets too loud, you can let me know, and I will be sure to make some tweaks, make some adjustments. So yeah, okay. So let me just tweet that out. I forgot to tweet that I was live. I'm gonna close Twitch because I don't really need that open, and collect all these. Is there anything on the previous pages? This happens to me a lot. I don't know if this happens to you guys, where you're looking at the episodical rank chart. Why have I forgotten the name of this thing? The seasonal progression, and you haven't collected something, and it's flashing, and I'm like, why is it flashing? I've collected everything. And then you go one page over and realize, oh, there it is. So what did we get from this? Okay, we got a vehicle. More vehicles. Bungie. I really don't need that many sparrows. Fargo? Oh, okay, this is the... I'm assuming this is one of the sparrows you get with Rite of the Night? Question mark? If anybody in chat knows, let me know, because I don't know. I don't need that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. This is... I mean, it's a nice shade of hot pink. As you can tell that a lot of detail went into this, like with the screen and all the dash display. Yeah. Is that like an aim down sights? I almost feel like that's an aim down sights, in a sense. But yeah, it's kind of a shame that we don't get to see that close. Like, if you're on a Sparrow, being able to like look down and look at the HUD, that would be cool. But yeah, I'm happy with my unified theory Sparrow right now. I have some other Sparrows in here which don't really need, and they're in my collections anyway. Speaking of space, let's visit the old vault. Look, compared to other people's that I've seen, I will openly admit that this is still a better... I mean, I have stuff from way back when in here, just untouched things. The biggest pain point I have with the vault is we have no way to... Like, what is all this stuff? Right? I have to literally hover over one by one, and I really wish there were just categories. Like, you've got 2 arrows here. Why not have primary, secondary, and then what's our third slot? Power weapon? Yeah. Kinetic, energy, power. Yeah. Like, that would be seriously cool if we had that slot. Kinetic, energy, and power, right? And then we can just literally sort through the types, unless there's like a special hotkey you hit. I have no idea. But anyway, let's get into some activity. I am excited for Edge of Fate. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bungie is actually going to be talking about today, because they haven't been very specific about what this stream entails. So much so that I'm literally going to open the Destiny 2 page whilst we queue up right here on Twitter to see if they said anything about... Okay, so 16 hours ago, for a new look at Kepler and the Edge of Fate campaign, and major updates to the core systems like power, progression, and portal. Okay, so that's cool. So we get to see the campaign. That's more or less what I wanted to know. But yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff. A lot of folks have been upset that everything's changing, and I would just encourage you to say that, like, everything's always changing in Destiny, and Edge of Fate could be viewed, in my opinion, as the... What's the word I'm looking for? It is Destiny 3 incarnate. That's what I'll say. So if you're somebody who is a veteran in Destiny and you are looking for...
Preliminary recon suggests the Lucent Hive are stockpiling Guardian Light for some kind of ritual.
For me.
We'll destroy their stored light if we can. But our primary objective must be removing Hive leadership.
They've been ahead of us at every step. Time we caught up.
About to see my bad aim in this game. Oh, it's a burst? That's actually really annoying. It's just... I'm trying to figure out like a hybrid kind of like void build, where it's like void explosive damage. At my core, like every time I think about Destiny, I just can't escape that. I can't escape the idea that like that I'm not doing explosive void damage, but the arc charge on Warlock kind of meets that. It's the nail there. I was hoping it would give me like explosive void damage, but it didn't seem to be. Oh, it has given me void weapon boost. I'm just seeing the bottom left. Hello, Vandal. I mean, they were getting some pretty crazy hits there. one of the reasons I never wanted to stream is because I was always afraid that like I'd be terrible at multitasking. And so far, it seems to be working well. I think maybe it's a maturity thing. Maturity is like skill or just not getting freaked out about things. It's probably also because I'm in my own space. Couldn't do this before, guys. It's probably one of the reasons why. And then also just, I was like, I don't want to be the guy that like, I'm a video guy who just does YouTube. Which is great, right? And I think that that's the power of like streaming on YouTube as well. But okay, that was nice. Oh, okay. Oh, guys, I'm liking this hand cannon. This is a fun hand cannon. Let's do it. See, like, yeah. What I'm gonna miss is like, I feel like right now, this is post-season of Arrivals all over again. And we're about to go undergo a major change in Destiny. And the biggest dilemma about that is like, we've established a good rhythm and a good groove. And all of that is about to be usurped, 100%. Take some damage, let's res the gang. Oh, good lord. Hold on, I got you. No, that was the worst time to pop super. I really don't know why I did that. And now I'm down. Fantastic. Res would be great. This Titan man is doing a good job. He's holding it down. Yep, good idea to res. Lunatic? Yeah. Guess I'll res myself. No problem. This corner here, these guys frustrate me so much. It's hot swap damage. I was taking too much heat, guys. Too much heat. Why? Yeah, but it's a good day. It's a good day. We've got a lot to. I'm pretty sure that this live stream is going to be chunky. I'm also going to turn stuff down in my ears a little bit. It's kind of a little. It's difficult when you have like noise cancelling earphones.
Being disarmed is more shameful than being killed in battle. I imagine it's the same with the Guardians and their light.
This looks like some kind of storage depot. But instead of weapons,
so this is where
they're collecting Guardian light.
The reload is so slow. Yep, there we go. Void damage is triggered. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oop. Excellent. I really need to get the keyboard. The W key on this, so I'm using a Logitech MX keys, the wireless version, and the W key is like literally popped out of it, and I have to hold it down when I'm using it. Sometimes it gets like stuck to my finger. It's actually really weird. yeah, there's that. So I've been meaning to order a new keyboard, and I just haven't done it yet. There's other things coming up. They're trying to get the place fixed. Just set up my new TV and the TV stand the other day. So, and so not no sir to the no sir to the it's good. Let me know if the background noise is okay too. I have the window open, and so I wasn't sure if that would be too much for people or if... it's also really funny right now. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but normally I'm like a close range person on Warlock, but for some reason today I just naturally went into like oh, that synergy, dude! Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sorry, I'm like, it's just really funny to me that like he popped his super and I did the damage. I did the thing. So question for all of you here who tuned in, what are you looking forward to today? Is there anything in particular that you were
Let's
hoping
locate
to
their
hear
leadership and put an end to this heresy.
from Bungie?
Savathun had all that time in the tower to plan. She was watching our every move. Even if this up succeeds, I doubt that will be the end of it.
I'm really glad also that Bungie kept Lance Riddick's voice in Destiny and didn't change it, but it does make me wonder if they've done that, if they've changed his voiceovers for whoop. I didn't think that would hit me, but kind of really good. Still. Yeah, I'm curious to know if they've had Lance Riddick's replacement re-record a whole bunch of lines for Edge of Fate, or if Bungie's still honouring him and keeping Lance Riddick's voice within the game. I think it's better to have Lance Riddick's voice in game, but I imagine that like eventually that will have to change. Stupid that. Coming. Okay. Oh, shoot.
Those second projections represent the Witch Queen's hold over her subject.
Let's do the
Use the synaptic spear to sever her connection.
I think one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is I actually want to know what the impact the Knight has had on the wider system. Now, during last week's live stream, there was an instance, I think it was Savathun's the Embargo engine, and in the Embargo engine, the Hive and all the different enemy types that were spawning looked like they had dark matter bubbles around them, particularly the ogres. I'll have to try and find that footage, but it was definitely noticeable. I think one of the best ways to play this particular mode is to go in range. Cover each other's wounds. this side of me. Oh, great. I didn't realise that was the last Guardian. Also, I need to blink more. My eyes are seizing up. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I love Nightfalls. They're just really fun. I really wish that we had like a Nightfall rotator. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that we would have the opportunity I always instinctively reload as well, guys. I don't know why. It's something about like still has good aim. It has good aim. Nightfall radar. Hey Benjamin, good to see you. Yes. I guess a radar, but it would be like, what's the best way to say this? It would be like a playlist of specifically strikes, or specifically strike level content, in that we would have the opportunity, that's on this clip, but I didn't realise he died. Tunnel vision. I got hyper focused. Sorry. Yeah, the ADHD in me tends to get hyper focused and just lock in. So it's even a miracle that I'm like having conversation and not dying and surviving and rezzing all at the same time. It's normally never happens. Yeah, so back to my original thought. The idea is to have I'd almost be like a strike. You know, like how we're getting the portal? It would be like a strike-focused portal. And in this sub-menu, it would have a playlist of strikes. It would essentially be like I don't know, the PvP menu that like all the content is designated strike only, like that would be my jam. I'd be in there all the time. Apart from like campaign stuff, bounties stuff, I would genuinely be locked into that. So one cool thing about using the prismatic is some weapons will charge the weapon damage. And it will add to the stack. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that, but it works specifically with like trace rifles. In fact, I'll show you guys in a minute. We'll run another one of these, I think. Or we'll do the. I kept saying strikes, but I meant. Yeah, sure, Benjamin. Be more than happy for you to join.
Come to your rescue, right?
You hear
I will show
someone screams,
my-
certainly. I'm fine.
My Bungie.
Truth be told, so are the Cabal. Not in any military sense. They're more
Username.
disorganized than
There
we
it is right
realized.
there. Psalmlab
not so
hashtag
bad
6202.
Once you fight beside
I
them.
believe
Stay strong,
my
friend.
party privacy is public. Yeah, everything's literally public, so you can just join on me. Yeah, anybody else is welcome to join on me if they'd like. And invite you? Okay, let me just do this real quick. I'm just gonna see if I can copy paste that rather than having to player not found. Interesting. I don't know. It's not letting me invite you, Benjamin. Do you want to go ahead and like join on me instead? Or I'll try again just now. Maybe it's because we were in the midst of an activity that it wouldn't let me do it. So let's try one more time. Search. Player not found. Interesting. Okay, let's do it this way. The old school way. Maybe it was the funny characters in here that like... I don't know if that still works. But I think it sent an invite. No idea if it did or didn't. Right, let's just check this. Let me know if you guys are okay with just like the in-game sound, or you would like some like chill background music, because I'm happy to put in some like chill background music as well. Don't forget to claim your free Bright Dust as well from Eververse. That is always there. It's available. So you can claim your free Bright Dust. You can also use that Bright Dust to get new stuff. So here is Claw Machine. That's hilarious. Is she gonna get it? No, she didn't get it. Oh, she did get it. Okay. Or did she cheat? I missed that. Okay, that's cool. Maximal Malhari? Okay. Oh, that's the I have no idea. I was trying to think of the theme tune. What are my numbers again? Hold on a second, good sir. I believe... so it's hashtag 6202. Or 6202. Yep. Feel free to join on me. I'm probably gonna run... Sorry, I kept saying strikes earlier. I meant to say Nightfalls. I wish we had a Nightfall playlist. This says Nightfall playlist, PvE playlist, but it's not actually a playlist. It's just one Nightfall. So it's kind of weird to me that that Bungie have said it this way. Whereas Vanguard Ops is actually a playlist of different Vanguard Ops. Okay, I see you. Let me get you in here. Yep. Accept invite. And then I will... Oh, you joined me. Okay, cool. No worries. Yeah, let's actually do some Brighter Than 9. So... That's always good fun. I'm just trying to decide. We'll do Spire the Watcher. I feel like difficulty-wise, the two easiest out of both of these dungeons are probably Spire the Watcher and Prophecy. Even though Prophecy has some mechanics, I would say that it is a more or less intermediate dungeon.
An old acquaintance among the hidden tells me that a Seraph complex recently powered on for the first time since the collapse. Shortly thereafter, Vex incursions were reported. Anna flagged the site as a potential...
Destiny's actually quite loud. I'm gonna lower it a second. Marcus, I don't know if you're still there. Let me know if the audio levels have been okay for you. I've dropped Destiny down to like 60% or so. So just let me know how that sounds for you. Benjamin, Clutch, let me know also if that sounds okay. If the audio levels and the stream sound okay. Yeah, let's get into this. Okay, so Spire the Watcher. I do like this mission for the lore,
You've landed at the source of the
but
complex's
mechanic-wise,
centuries in Martian rust
it can be a little
have done
fiddly.
this place no kindness. Our window of opportunity is short. Arc surges destabilize the complex, and Vex are breaching the command matrix. Go.
So for those of you who don't know, who are like, what is Spire of the Watcher? What is this massive tower in the background? This is a tower that was built as a collaborative project between Braytech, Clovis Bray Industries, and the Ishtar Collective, which is kind of why you can tell it's funded by Braytech, because it has a very Rasputin-esque vibe, and that was because Rasputin had massive, he was part of this project, he knew all about it, he helped get it running, but the collaborative project was all about helping humanity to reach the stars, and, well, it was actually more about, is it possible to have extra solar colonies outside of our known system? That was the premise, okay. And so the Spire of the Watcher was born, and they built an AI specifically designated towards helping to plot safe trajectory through our system to other galaxies. And we did this successfully. But in the process of this research, there was an AI that was developed. Her name is Sortera, or Sorteria, to be exact. And during her calculations of analyzing the known space between, essentially, let's say Earth and the Andromeda system, she detected weird spatial anomalies. Now at this point we don't know if those anomalies were the Witness and the pyramid ships, or if it was something else, because according to a lot of lore, there is a lot more out there than just pyramid ships. You know, we have the Kugu. Okay, I died. We have the Kugu, which I didn't do a lore video on them, but I know Mining Games did. I was going to do a video on it, but I said I wrote an article about that. So if you're interested, I can always drop that in the chat. But basically, the article goes into detail about the history of this race called the Kugu, who were these like weird cephalopod species who... Why are these things getting so close? Yeah, weird cephalopod species who were really smart. They could speak telepathically, and they had a very strange, they were very tribal in their existence. They did things very much like, by the way of our elders. That's kind of the... Think Avatar, but in Destiny. Like, not Avatar The Last Airbender, but Avatar, the film. And so, long story short, the Witness shows up on their shores. No, actually, they run into Savathun's fleet. Specifically Savathun's brood. And they face off. And the Kugu have never come across anything even remotely as intelligent as themselves. And so this is the first time they go to combat with this alien species, which is the Hive, and more or less lose, so much so that they retreat. And the Hive also had never come across an enemy like this, so they basically... The Hive are like, whoa, okay, who are these guys? We have no way of following them. Long story short, the assumption is that they go, the Hive return to the Witness, and essentially the Witness is like, oh, okay, a new species that will be worth subduing. And so that's essentially what happens. The Pyramid Fleet arrive on the Kugu homeworld and annihilate them. And the Witness...
This wasn't just a pillory site. It was a joint research facility focused on extrasolar colonization efforts.
Yeah, there you go. So extrasolar colonization efforts.
Have been scouring research logs.
Yeah, so the premise of this
something more than to imprison Rasputin subminds.
is that the Witness was used the Soul Divisive to break into this facility to get information, because it's looking for information on where the Veil is. And there was no information here. Oh, well, there wasn't much information here about the Veil. So yeah. And the Soul Divisive are like, in terms of origin of the Vex, they're like the first set of the Vex. Or one of the earliest, I'd say, iterations of the Vex. Like if you were going to say, oh, what serial number is this, this like, these AirPod Pros, you know, or this like, Galaxy Samsung phone. The Vex are like, maybe, I don't know, version 2 of the errant pattern. And the errant pattern is the thing that corrects all things, which is essentially what the Vex are. Their job is to correct things. Now, we're in a weird position with the Vex, because they are now more conscious than they've ever been. They've gained a consciousness and now possibly paracausality, thanks to the Echo and stinking Maya Sundaresh. And so they're a lot more intelligent now. And so what's really interesting about the footage we got last week from Bungie is in that trailer you see a Vex hive mind, specifically an Ishtar Collective Vex hive mind. And that shouldn't be possible, because Nessus is a closed system to the Vex. They cannot leave the planet. So somehow Maya Sundaresh has found a way to leave Nessus and also help the Vex to achieve that, and we're gonna die at the same time. So this is the deal with This is the deal with the Vex, and why Spyro the Watcher is an important footnote in the entire story of Destiny so far. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next in Edge of Fate and Kepler, because the Vex are there once again. They have found a way to break into this place. Break into this planet. Why can't I? Okay. Excuse me, yeah, they found a way to get inside of Kepler, or we assume they actually could have been on Kepler this whole time and we just never knew about it, which I think is entirely possible, because anywhere there's temporal tamperment, the Vex are going to be there. What I'm going to be interested to hear is exactly when the Vex found out about Kepler. Have they been there all along? Because I would assume that humanity's experimentation with anything to do with time drew them there. And specifically, and time, you know, the Vex are interested in time related to humanity. Why? Because they want the light. They recognize that they can't simulate paracausality, but they kind of have that now because of the Echo. But the question is Maya in control of all Vex, or just? Oh, okay, so it triggers with headshots. Good to know. Yeah, is Maya Sundaresh in control of all the Vex, or is it just some of the Vex? I think that's a question that I have. So yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, my video probably just went live.
Information stored here,
so,
could it be linked to my visions?
But we'll keep going with this. We'll let that video play. It doesn't need to be a part of the stream necessarily, because I really want that video to work on its own. We've been streaming for an hour already. So once we get to this next section, probably going to take a 2 to 5 minute break. Not 5 minute, because we'll probably get kicked out of Destiny, but take a quick bio break, and then I'll be back to start the next phase of this tower once we can get up here. This is such an awkward place for a warlock to. I feel like if you're a hunter, this is easy. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, and I'll be right back after these messages.
We've spotted increased activity near the newest pyramid installation in the Cosmodrome. If history's any guide, they'll be transferring prisoners there.
50-50, it's a trap. But that's never stopped you before, has it, Guardian?
This plane is volatile and uncertain. It is not like the ordered realm of the Vex.
Yeah, the VexNet is colorful, cold, calculated. You can feel the zeros and ones, but the Ascendant plane is more like fluid. It has ebbs and flows. It's emotional.
That is the way of the darkness.
Though they appear chaotic, the Taken are still bound by a psychic command structure.
Right. Let's target their leadership, Guardian. now why the Shadow Legion didn't set up perimeter defenses like in the EDC. They wanted to take the fight on their home territory.
They'll come to regret that decision. That's a bit like riding a bull in one's own china shop.
The forces of the Witness were waiting, poised to rain their hatred down upon you.
They have the advantage, but they do not have the light. Unleash it upon them.
Looks like the Guardian's being evicted from the battle. How impolite.
Our enemies attempt to regroup. We must re-engage them quickly.
We will not be waylaid so easily. Another path to the prisoners has already been charted.
Reinforcements converge on your position. Ignite the balefires and they will be powerless against you.
Just don't forget to look up. If it were me defending this place, you'd already be in my crosshairs. Nice shooting, Guardian. I'll clean up here.
Guardian, we've picked up a high-gain transmission. Origin point is somewhere along the coast, near the Cosmodrome.
That's Rasputin, the AI Warmind. If I'm understanding him correctly, it's a distress call. There are so few ballet fans left, Guardian. It'd be a shame to lose him.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I've been muted this whole time. Oh my gosh. Wow, we played through that whole mission muted. Okay, well, at least you had in-game sound, so it wasn't completely for nothing. So that's definitely good. But yeah, I apologize for that, guys. Really sorry that happened. Let's get back into things. How long was I muted for? Finch, how long? How long was I muted for? Must have been like a good 10-15 minutes. I mean, I've played an entire strike. Oh wow, it's wild. 3 minutes? Oh, in the past 3 minutes? Isn't it? Really? I feel like I've been back a little longer than that, but okay. I think... Oh, the entire background... Okay. 10 plus minutes. Was that 10 plus minutes of... Oh, is the game muted as well? No, the game wasn't muted. Only I was muted. Okay, so that's fine. As long as you had sound, then we're good. That's all that matters. Guys, I'm actually regretting this hand cannon. It's slow. I feel like it just slows my momentum that I've built. But it does do... I wish it wasn't a burst. I wish it was just a, you know, like a one-hit type thing. But it does do great stuff. I feel like my damage is weird. Who remembers the auto rifle secondary, Gnawing Hunger? I loved that thing. What's the roll? I'll show you right now. So this is the roll. I have accurized rounds, enlightened action, frenzy, Omolon fluid dynamics, increased reload speed stability for the top half of the magazine. Oh, so then by the second half it drops off. So what do I have on right now? I have backup magazine. I need to change this. Increases weapons ready and stow speed. It's not really... Oh, gains target acquisition? Sure, I'll take that. Yeah, it's not a great roll. It's not a great roll. It was a random roll I got. I can't even remember where I got it from. Vandals. There's nothing worse than a vandal, but then an invisible vandal is even worse. They just don't die. Okay, let's change this. We're gonna get rid of that because it's not worth it. Where is it? Whereas this, on the other hand, this is a very good hand cannon. I didn't check what the roll is for this, but I know it does good. Oh, did they? Oh, wait. It's been a while since I've run this, so I forgot where everything is. Yeah, yeah. If I was into PvP, then sure, why not? I forgot people speedrun this particular. Glad I'm wearing transversive steps, otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep up. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Shame about the reload speed though. Pretty sure I can change that though. So, what is everybody looking forward to for the live stream? Let me go ahead and just check Twitter a second real quick, because I'm not 100% sure if they've tweeted anything. There's a lot happening this week. Like, we have Bungie Devstream Reset, Mech Break is dropping today. I don't know if anybody's tried that, but like, based on what I've seen, because I was blessed enough to get into the closed beta. There is way more under the surface for that game than I thought there was ever gonna be. Like they've added like PvE, so many things that they've added to it that it's like, I need to focus up. I'm like losing focus. Whilst Oh, that was a total misstep. I really shouldn't have done that. Okay, so any updates from Bungie? There is an emblem. Okay, let's got a quick res here. How is this guy constantly... Okay, my mouse key is disappeared, and now I'm literally just pressing the gel input. Let me quickly readjust. That was also a misclick, but it worked out in my favor. Cool. Alright, so apparently, so during the Bungie live stream, you will be able to win, or not win, you will earn a emblem for tuning in, and it's an interesting emblem. Is that I don't know what kind of emblem is that? Oh, Observer Effect emblem. So that's what you get for tuning in and watching. So... yeah, that's pretty cool. Looks like it will be a fun stream. Not really, I don't know what's going to be happening, but also, wow, MechBreak really, like, the developers for this company, they're really, like, pulling out the stops. There's like cinematic lore and stuff to it, which I never really anticipated. You saw Fragile Focus? Yeah, it was Encore. Yeah, Portal and Kepler, yes. Specifically, because I read it on stream earlier, let me go back to that. They said, yeah, we're going to be looking, new look at Kepler as a planet. So this will be good because it's going to show us like where there might be patrol zones, stuff like that. And then also the Edge of Fate's campaign. So we're going to get to see some aspects of the campaign. And then major updates to core systems like power, progression, and the portal. So it's going to be interesting to see what their plans are for the portal, and if the design has changed since the last time we saw like the previous iteration of that design. I'd be intrigued. At the same time, I'm supposed to be like ordering dinner. Sat here yapping away, strumming. Okay.
All right, Guardian. The Cabal are determined to dig up something bad, and they've got the head start. You're gonna need to hustle to close the gap.
Okay, let's do it. Wow, just look at that. It is terrible. So. I still need to get my hoverboard. I don't know. I think one of my other characters has it. Has anyone else noticed how many more people are using the Graviton Lance? I feel like almost every game I've been in, somebody's using Graviton. Oh, of course you sidestepped it. And it happened again. I feel like this team that I'm with, they're just doing all the damage. Yep. Except for that time. How is he? What the heck? How does that keep happening? What? Okay, what weapons are these guys using? Oh, well, GG's. Okay, I really need to... give me a second, guys. I'm gonna open up Dim. I need my... my thingy. Sparrow. Also, at the same time, I'm not feeling comfortable with my prismatic selection. I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna change this up here because I know I've put a lot in Arc, but I might actually change this to Void and see what like composition. Oh wait, do I have to? Yeah, I still need to unlock aspects, guys. That's yeah, okay. But it be what it be. So, yep, okay, that's fine. Now I need my... I nearly said Ornithopter. So I've clearly been playing too much... Oh, right, it's right click. Okay. Yeah, I forget how these work. I didn't mean to jump off that, but okay. I didn't mean to jump off that again, but it happened. I've probably done all the deed. They've killed them all. I'm pretty sure I have a gnawing hunger here somewhere. Bear with me a second. Yep, here it is. Take that. Swap that out. I need to get that up to... what would I get rid of? I'll get rid of an exotic, because I can get that any day. And then... guess... oh no, we can't have 2 exotics. Nope, that's also 2 lower light. Let's try this. I didn't actually check what the stats were for this.
They're looking for the deep stone crypt here. Then they're groping around in the dark, so to speak.
Sounds like there's plenty else they could find around here. Keep pushing, Guardian.
Oh.
This is the time, Guardian. Begin the rite of proving.
I literally couldn't jump off of my hoverboard. Dune Awakening brain rot is real. I'm so into that game. At some point I will attempt to stream it. Did it really bring me all the way back here? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Bungie. It's ridiculous. Fire rate on this, oh my goodness, it's atrocious. Also, something really weird happening here, but my... Oh, that's another good place to stop. This is... okay. My healing rift. Oh, because I changed to... Oh, okay, well that's annoying. Just can't win with these builds, can you? What? Even though I was behind the pillar? Dude, this is wild. Let's refresh the Bungie stream while I'm at it as well. I think oh, it's starting soon. Okay, that is good to know. Let me go ahead and control that a second. How did I figure out how to do that again? I think it was right click, interact, that's it. And I wanted to make this bigger. And then come over to here. So what I'm going to do is move that into the top right corner. Oh, lucky for Rose, guys. I was okay, that was weird. The arrow was facing there. Yep, he's a goner. Arrivederci, my friend.
You know, sometimes I forget how pleasant it is.
Okay.
Quiet after battle.
Pleasant, yes. And brief. Especially on a moon like Europa.
All the more reason to enjoy it while it lasts.
Alright. Alrighty then. So the stream will be starting soon. I'm going to have that sound coming through a little bit. You guys can let me know if it's too loud or if it's quiet. Yeah. Pretty epic cat. Cool. Oh, he or they are asking me to, yep, let's do it. Bum 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 bum. Alright. In the meantime, let us find dinner. What will it be today, my good sir? I believe Pizza was on the menu. Pray tell, I cannot find it, so I must use the search. Let's get that Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's still good these days. Like I don't think I've eaten from there. If we're a bunch of sauce, yep. A refreshed page. Oh, am I signed? I'm not signed in on that thing. Okay, let me mute this. Let me do this. Say interact. Because I need to sign in. Why is it crashed? Oh, is it because it's... Oh, was the chat start? Is it already kicking off? Okay, if they're... Oh, is it starting right now? Okay, guys, let's go ahead and switch over real quick. Because it looks like they shifted away from starting soon. So let me go ahead and mute desktop audio. We're gonna bring... Yep, it started.
Welcome back for our second live stream for The Edge of Fate. What you just saw was our launch trailer. We are 14 days away from launch.
Wild.
2 weeks. Pretty insane. Today we're going to be talking about what activities are on Kepler. What can you expect from world tiers as you're going through for replayability? And to introduce that, we actually have a wonderful human being on the couch next to me. Did I introduce myself? My name's Dylan. Hi. Your name is Robbie. Hello. Let's actually get a real introduction for you. How you doing?
Hey, Dylan. It's great to be here. I'm the assistant game director for Destiny 2, and I focus on working with the broad Destiny 2 team and creating this game for our players and charting a new course to some new frontiers here with The Edge of Fate, just 14 days away.
Yeah,
crazy.
Right?
It's awesome. Yeah.
I keep telling folks on the team, it's like, we got 14 days, and they're like, wait, huh? It's already here? So today we're going to be looking at Kepler. Can you give us a quick overview? What are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at some of the free roam experience on Kepler, and we're also going to be taking a sneak peek at the end of one of our campaign missions that is replayable. In the post game of the Kepler experience. We're also going to be talking here about our world tiers a little bit, which we've talked a little bit about in the stream, and we're going to talk about a lot more here today. And so what we're showing on screen right now is the world tier difficulty selector that's on the destination. And so right now we're in the Fabled difficulty, and so Brave and Legendary, you can play through the campaign, you can play through the main quest, the story of the release, and Brave or Legendary, doesn't matter. But after you do that, you're going to unlock Fabled and Mythic difficulties. Now, the difference here, though, is with these difficulties, power is fully enabled. And so that means when you step out of either Brave or Legendary, you're going to probably be able to do Fabled. Most people will be able to do Fabled. Some people might need to fire team. But if you want to play Mythic, you're really going to have to climb power. The difficulty really escalates, and then the gear gets better. And so if you're hunting for that, that tier 2+, 3, 4 loot, right, you're going to be needing to play and Fabled Mythic to find that. Those higher tier loot.
Yeah, let's get some combat going. Really quick, what is the state of our fire team? You were mentioning we're in Fabled, so this is going to be after they've already done their first playthrough.
Yeah, so this fire team has played through the Legendary campaign. Right now, they are inside of the Gorge, which is one of our 4 major regions of Kepler, and they are in free roam right now, and they are going through one of our free roam encounters. And so the other thing I should call out here is within these free roam encounters, there are reasons to basically go back through the destination using your new abilities in new ways. And so, sorry, can you ask me that question one more time? Like, I feel like I answered it, but then I segued into something else.
I said, what state is our fire team in? Post-campaign?
Yeah. We're post-campaign. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, we're hunting higher tier loot and gear here on the destination, and they're also doing some of our post-game quests. So both Fabled and Mythic have their very own quest associated with them as part of the post-game that are one part of like completing the Triumphant Seal to earn some exclusive cosmetics and emblems, but also these world quests unlock some additional loot in the game as well. So specifically the Mythic quest that's associated with that world tier unlocks a variant armor set for the Kepler armor. So as you're playing through the campaign and throughout the experience, there's a 2 and 4 set piece bonus on the Kepler armor set. Once you complete that Mythic world tier quest, you unlock a variant of that has a different set bonus and a unique shader on it as well.
Awesome.
What?
For folks that you didn't tune in last week or you haven't heard about gear tiers, set bonuses, we have a full blog article that went live
let's
last
fix
week.
this
Go
quality,
ahead,
by the
visit
way.
that, check it out. So when we're run mission, right?
Yes.
And these take place in places that are regions on the destination.
Yes.
Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit before, but this is the Gorge, and so the Vex have actually put a big security lockdown on this entire region on side of Kepler. And so the fire team right now is basically breaking through this security lockdown. And so each of these regions feature multiple of these major encounters, is kind of what we call them, these free roam encounters. And these are kind of like the
Pyramidion.
Sorry, just got try to get through that security grid, and he did not make it.
Yeah.
Each of these major encounters we have are kind of like the size of roughly like a lost sector, but ultimately they're more complex. They have more mechanics. That you have to use the destination abilities to solve some simple puzzles and encounters inside of them. And generally they have pretty thick combat, especially on like the Fabled difficulty as well, where we start adding more enemies, tougher enemies, and also there are Banes that are applied in the World Tiers 2 that are actually exclusive to Kepler. They were built specifically for this content.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then as you're going through these sorts of free roam activities and exploring Kepler, what other like side objectives or objectives can pop up?
Yeah, so the way we kind of are thinking about this, right, like a lot of this outside of doing the seal, the triumphs, and things like that, and mysteries and secrets, which we can talk about here in a minute, a little bit more, is like it's about gear pursuit, right? It's about earning that higher tier gear, chasing power, and so the way we constructed these regions, there's these free roam major encounters, there's tougher enemies that appear, there's HVTs that pop up, there's destination materials to loot, and there's this material called a faded cipher as well, and so you're going to be combining destination materials that you get from basically doing almost anything inside of the region alongside faded ciphers in order to be able to purchase specific items at the destination vendor called the Altar of Relativity. At the center.
That's a lot of names and words.
Lots of proper nouns.
If you didn't catch this, I know there are going to be breakdowns. We'll have a recap in the TWID, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, and so like what's cool about this is that in the post game, like there's a focus that we created, and so basically through the vendor you can go and look at it and be like, okay, today's focus is the Gorge, which the fire team is looking at today. Most of the materials that you're earning here can be used to purchase gear, or you can convert your other materials you might have from other regions to convert it into the Gorge materials to buy stuff.
So we're getting a gear shop? Interesting.
The daily focus is going to shift, and so a little bit later in the stream we're going to be seeing a part of Exile's Accord, which we've also some of our content creators and influencers showed as well, and some of their content parts of it. But basically, of the 4 major regions, the daily focus will shift day over day to basically kind of change what you're focused on, what gets you access to that direct purchase loot.
Yeah, and since we're on the topic of rewards, you were talking about like the currencies and the vendor.
That seems unbalanced. Direct purchase loot?
Yeah, so something that was really important.
Isn't that going to break the game?
Like it just, we want to make playing what we call like the action game, like actually experiencing free roam like this and the mission content, like when you earn that piece of loot on Kepler as you're completing these activities and just got nuked.
No, I'm so happy that they're dying, because they were like, this won't be too hard, and it's like, oh, world tiers? Let's introduce them at a higher difficulty, shall we?
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, this is Fable pushing back.
Right, let's just crank it right up.
And they just used actually Mattermorph in order to open up a pathway to get around this Vex grid that opened up in the middle of the encounter. But anyway, we were talking specifically, I'm sorry, remind me. Attunement, thank you. Yeah, so basically, you're going to be able to attune at the vendor a specific piece of gear, armor, or weapon, and any drop on Kepler that drops a piece of armor or weapon will have a chance to be that gear.
The level of customization here, this is insane.
Like you're carving your own path, you're figuring out your own farm routes inside of each of these 4 regions each day of the week. We wanted to make sure that, like, hey, if you're looking for the Giver, that auto rifle that's coming with the Edge Fate here on Kepler, it's like you have a chance to get it.
I think third-party tools like DIM and Braytech are going to be really useful here.
And the depth of the destination. I mean, I'd love to hear. Yeah, go ahead and expand on that.
Yeah, so like it's funny with like secrets and mysteries, like you want to like talk about it a little bit, but like not too much to like spoil it. Yeah. But I think like the thing to scratch at here and poke at here is like we've talked about the destination abilities a few times. And so with the world tiers and the Fable to Mythic difficulties, throughout the destination, there are secrets and mysteries, like basically all these little alcoves, these little locations, these side paths, these hidden rooms, all throughout the destination that you can go and discover. And there's a lot available just within the campaign experience. Like if you want to play through the campaign and take it like really slow, and as you earn abilities and look around, you're going to find a lot of mysteries to solve. But we also wanted to make sure that in those higher world tiers in Fable and Mythic, that it felt like this expanding expansion of that content that you have. And it's basically like, hey, you have even more abilities than ever. You can now peel back the onion of this world to discover what's at the core of it. And so we really wanted to make sure that it felt like there was just more and more to dive into the more you unlocked inside of the post game.
Awesome. Yeah. So in our rehearsals, we never managed to get this perfect timing, but we have perfect timing. I would love to shift to campaign. We're going to be taking you about midway through campaign mission here. A quick note for the audience: if you're avoiding spoilers, we have disabled our VO, We have disabled our subtitles. We're trying to keep this so you are discovering the story as it comes out with the Edge of Fate and our new saga. So as they're getting loaded into that, I'd love to ask you just a couple more questions about free roam in the regions.
Yes.
What other things can happen in regions outside of campaign?
Yeah, so one of the big things that happens inside of these regions are side quests, which we've only talked a little bit about, and these are basically ways that flesh out more of the characters of the world, more of the stories of the
So adventures,
and of the place and what's happening,
essentially,
what's been happening
of what they've brought back.
and what might be happening to them in the future. And basically what happens is as you're completing these regions as part of the campaign and you kind of start to unlock more of them, these side quests will start to become available. And so
yeah, it's exactly the way Adventures works.
So again, like I was kind of mentioning earlier, like you can either take it really, really slow and take a really long time to get through everything the release has to offer, or you can just like beeline the main quest, beeline the critical path, and then when you get into the higher level world tiers, all of these side quests are now available to you. As we've been like play testing and closing out the Edge of Fate here, it's been really interesting to watch different developers and people play test the content. Myself and Blake Battle, one of our executive producers, he and I just like, we're just like beelining it, right? Yeah. And then we get to the end and we like pop up in that and we're like, look at all these quests to do, while other people like want to take their time and like experience like the full story of every single little piece.
So we're actually we're getting into the campaign right now, and speaking of beelining, we've seen a ton of questions about getting raid race ready. So the raid race is going to be coming out on the Saturday after launch. I believe it's the 19th of July.
Yeah.
So people get 1 week to prepare for raid? That's insane.
The contest mode raid.
It's actually crazy to me.
You're going to want to play the legendary campaign. And so when you step out of the legendary campaign, you will be power ready at that point. Now, if you're gear ready, that's up to you, right? It's like how far you want to go down that rabbit hole.
And that dovetails into like replayability for the story missions and the campaign missions and how that bakes into world.
Is that a
getting that higher tier
secondary rocket launcher? He's
something that was really important to us when we were thinking about replayability and what like aspiration means within an expansion. We really wanted to change some of the formula. Like we wanted to take some of the formula that we think works well, but also
it's very.
One of the really big goals for us was just giving you more reasons.
The side quests is very. That's very MMORPG. Machinima, I think, is just the. The marketing tactic for getting people to invest. But I think it's this idea of like this endless cube of spelunking, which is what it feels like Edge of Fate's going to be.
This is a really fun like multi-phase boss encounter that they're orbiting around this giant servitor, and we really wanted to set something up that this doesn't just was like a one and done kind of thing. And so things we've kind of done before that we're going back to that we think work well, there's going to be multiple weekly missions that you can play that are larger missions.
So this is, I said it, they're reprising Sunset content back into Edge of Fate in a number of ways.
Similar to legendary campaign experiences from the past. So something new that we did though for this release though is we also have
I agree. I think
that take place during the campaign.
More MMO is great.
These are shorter experiences, but they still have like huge impact on the story, moving the story of the main quest into Kepler 4, and also help you to unlock different abilities and things throughout it. And so in the post-game, in the higher level, in the world tiers, we actually have a story mission playlist where you can go in and it's like a rotator and you're rotating through a bunch of different randomly selected story missions that are about 10 to 15 minutes. Some people can, if you're going really fast, can get them down a little bit shorter.
That's cool. I like that.
Actually one of the best sources of those faded ciphers that I was talking about earlier. And so
we should have had that years ago. Honestly.
These quests are going to take you through some of the big campaign missions, again, to experience them with new modifiers, because we're curating modifiers and banes and things like that every single week on the destination, to have a little bit more of a curated experience. But then also those quests introduce some like new encounters as well. And so, sorry, like I'm going a little bit all over the place. I mean, some of this there's just like so much information, so much to talk about. But the thing, like, again, I want to like drive home here is like we wanted to give you really strong incentives to go in and play the free roam experience, to extract materials, to play our story mission playlist. It's called the time lapse mission playlist, to earn faded ciphers, but then also to have reasons to go in and replay some of our biggest campaign missions again through the weekly missions playlist, kind of like the heroic stuff we've had in the past.
And on the stream last week, we talked about how as you're unlocking the destination abilities, you carry those forward after the post game, so you can go in and replay and then have some of these things available, right?
Yeah, that's a really good note, and thank you
That's
for hitting
cool.
on that.
I like that.
The way we designed this content was the campaign slowly stepped you into these different abilities and unlocking different versions of them and higher tier versions of them. When you're in the post game experience, we intentionally designed puzzles and encounter mechanics and things, and like even in this boss encounter, there's multiple times that they've had to use Matter Spark to like get into the vents and stuff below this area and pop up through the world. And through the campaign, you would actually have to go and find like a Matter Spark pad to activate that, and that's actually kind of part of the puzzle. It's teaching you to kind of look at the world and think about the world in a different way that is intentional. But then in the post game, as soon as you complete the campaign, you unlock Matter Spark anywhere, and it's basically like your souped up sparrow for the destination, and being able to summon Matter Spark anywhere means you can actually like sequence break some of our puzzles and sequence break part of our missions, and that was like entirely intentional as a part of the design. And to be honest, Dylan, like the fun part about this too is like we're not 100% sure in some ways where people might sequence breaks things that we might not expect, but like that was intentional from the design perspective, that like we want people to be able to
yeah, I like that. I think that's a really clever idea.
We don't know how players are going to take this ability with this destination ability with this combatant, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, I don't know why they're shying away from calling them adventures.
Players where they're like, oh, you had
but
mentioned like this is comparable to a Rise of Iron. Like, how does that actually break down when we look at the Edge of Fate and Kepler? Like, you had mentioned depth and secrets and a bunch of different things. So.
Yeah, so I think like you and I were talking about this in rehearsal a little bit, where like that comparison is just to give us like a ballpark of where we want to be. But at the end of the day, it's like apples and oranges between what the Edge of Fate is and what Rise of Iron is. So when we've talked about that, we've generally been speaking towards like the size of this destination and the depth of the campaign.
Yeah, I'm digging this. This is going to be a good update, I think, guys.
Destinations we've ever built before, and that is why we've been making that comparison to Rise of Iron in that way. But also in terms of being like a little bit bigger. But also like the game is very different today, right? We have an entire portal, we have an entire offering that is there with a bunch of new content, new gear, new things to do. We have the raid with the Edge of Fate, obviously, but then we have the epic raid coming in the major update with Ash and Iron, which we'll talk about more in the future. That just it permutes and expands the raid and expands on the story of the raid. It is new content. We're not holding anything back for the base raid to build that experience. And so again, the Rise of Iron to Edge of Fate, little bit apples and oranges, but we also are thinking about like the collective packages of what comes with this release, because the game is very different from what it was like back.
So we have the free roam missions, we have campaign, we have secrets, we have a lot of questing, that kind of stuff. I'd love, before we wrap up with our campaign mission, to talk a bit about what else players can expect in terms of destination activity.
Yeah, so we've seen y'all talking about it. Like we hear y'all, and this is one of those things where like we wanted to hold this back for it to be like a surprise and delight moment for everyone when it appeared on the destination in the post game. But yeah, let's just talk about it a little bit. So there is a destination activity on Kepler. It is, I'm not going to name it here. I just want y'all to see it when the game goes live. And it also, and part of that is because like it does relate to some of the story inside of the campaign, especially near the end. And so we wanted to be careful to not unintentionally spoil something if we showed too much of that activity. But anyway, the way to think about it is like it's kind of its own thing. It's kind of unique, but it's kind of a blend of activities like Vex Incursion and Wellspring. And so
public event.
Activity with 3 players.
It's match made.
Some of your destination abilities and some really chaotic horde mode inspired elements, but there's also some mechanical elements and there's some boss encounters.
It's literally what we had during Season of the Splicer, if I'm not mistaken.
Rerolls of the exotic armor that's coming to the Edge of Fate that you get from the Legendary campaign, and it's just highly rewarding in general. And so because we wanted to make this activity really rewarding, it is also technically time limited, but on the Kepler map, near the center of the map, there's going to be basically a preview that tells you like, hey, when does the activity become available? So you're going to know exactly when you can jump into the destination activity in order to like focus farm those things that you care about the most.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. We've already wrapped up our campaign mission, and now we're actually going to be moving over to Portal, Power of Progression. So Robbie, thank you. Chat, thank Robbie for joining us today. And now we're going to swap some folks in We'll see you next time.
See you later, guys. Thanks so much.
All right. So, as we are swapping out, I want to talk about these two new exotic weapons that we see on the screen. You saw some of this.
There's a lot of exotics in this expansion.
We also had some creators, influencers, that kind of stuff coming in and speaking to the hand cannon and the.
Yeah, I would imagine it's the Singularity.
On Kepler, no spoilers there. But the team was talking about, oh, hey, here is our overall goal for the weapon. It's for those who are looking for the perfect 3-tap. As for the Void Scout Rifle, that's going to be a part of our new rewards pass. This is just, I'm not going to spoil that either. There are some reviews from our sandbox-minded creators. It's a fun time. So, all right, let's move on to Portal, Power, and Progression. And I just looked at our 3 new guests in that order. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, a couple of you are new, but we'll start with you, Ben. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dylan. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. For those who didn't see you on our reveal stream or previous Vidocs, can you give a quick overview? Who are you? What you do?
Yeah, I am Ben Womack. I am the core game creative director. I am the one helping all the teams that are making the core experience and all the components in the portal and in Edge of Fate as well, worked well together and pushed the game forward into this great new foundation. I'm really excited to talk about it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Next on the couch, brand new to our chair. You've never been on anything, so first time you are meeting the community. Everyone in chat, say hello. Nutty, welcome.
Hi, I'm Nutty. I'm one of our sandbox ability designers. That pretty much means that I work with Vivian and Eric over here last week to develop.
I legit thought that his name was his in-game name.
So today I'm going to talk about all the modifiers and additional banes that we've been working on.
But that's rad. That's his actual name.
Not least, we got Alan Blaine. How you doing?
Hey, great. How you doing, Dylan?
Oh, You asked me how I am? Thank you so much. Really quick introduction for everybody.
Dylan is so weird sometimes.
Sure. Hi, I'm Alan. I'm a principal designer, and for the last year, I've been leading the team that's been taking all the cool banes and modifiers Nutty's team is working on and combining them in a UI with all the activities from the activities team, both new and returning activities, making sure that you get good score while you're playing those activities, and then
that's a massive spoiler. Did he just say returning activities?
Stellar. So we have some content.
So what's returning?
Players are going to see when they sign in on day 1, and this is our introduction to the portal. Ben, I would love to get just a quick overview for those who may have missed that reveal stream. What is this space? What are we aiming for?
Yeah, so the portal is very exciting. We had this vision of making a new front page for the game for Destiny 2. And so we really want to make as much as we could available, just in a couple clicks. And,
this is very
the content that is new or featured or
console driven. This portal.
We want to go to a lot. We have a button for the tower that's right there, fastest you can get into. We also have Edge of Fate in the upper corner, of course, which is the new.
Savathûn's Spire. Okay.
We have this huge quick launch panel in the lower right that is rotating between new activities. Probably the fastest.
If I'm not mistaken, let me just quickly Google here.
The very first new character, it's gonna let you just hit and play something right away with no delay. And then we have actually a very nested depth there with all the ops categories on the left, which are all the different kinds of things.
Yeah, but we never lost Savathûn's Spire, right? That's still in the game.
Not even talking about.
Awesome. Yeah, really quick, I'd love to go just line by line for Solo, Fireteam, Pinnacle, and Crucible Ops. Give them an introduction.
Yeah. So Solo Ops is a new thing that we're doing in the Edge of Fate launch and for the core game. These have activities that are designed to be played by solo players. They're only one-person fire teams, and they're intended to be content that if you just have a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes to play Destiny, and you want to go on and feel satisfied about your time, get some great loot, you're going to go to Solo Ops and have that opportunity. It's going to be a really great, concise experience. We're also if you don't want to have the think about having a fire team for some content as well, you can be assured that this stuff is designed to be played by one player. And so
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, during Season of the Witch we did.
And modifiers and such you can customize and really great loot to get. But it's a challenge for you, individual. And
Skywatch? Hello.
To some stuff in the past, it felt I want to play, but I don't have any friends. Or
the salt mines? There's a lot of locations here that we've not been able to.
Awesome. And then next up we have Fireteam Ops.
Yes.
And the Conflux, wasn't the Conflux inside the Pyramidion?
Quintessential Destiny is playing with 2 other players.
I need to Google this.
So we have all of the activities in Fireteam.
Destiny 2.
We have classic strikes in there. We have missions from past expansions, like in Europa, like the Empire hunts. We also have like Onslaught.
Oh yeah, no, that's a lost sector. Sorry, we have that currently.
So past seasonal activities coming back, and like integrating with all the systems we've been talking about that we're going to talk more about, so that they're like available for you to get new loot in, to work on your power climb, to basically just like have a great time in whichever way you want to.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, since we're already in the screen, let's go ahead and get our fire team set up with our activity. What are we playing today, Nutty?
We were going to do the Dark Priestess Empire hunt.
Awesome. So here, I'm actually going to pass the mic over to you and Alan. Let's get some bands, some modifiers, all that kind of stuff set up. Really quick, can you introduce each of these sections for the different modifiers, and then we'll go and kind of pick and choose what we want?
For sure. So we're starting at Master Activity, and this is 300 combatant power. The first row there that has all the selectable icons that you can change are challenge modifiers. These are things that will increase the combatant power and add some additional difficulty to it. The first one is our Banes. So here you decide what Banes are going to show up, and we paired all of them as like 2 combos that either work well together or at least interesting. Today we'll do Threaded and Caltrops. So Threaded is where, as you damage the combatant, it will spawn Threadlings, and when it dies, it will throw out a few more Threadlings at the same time. And Caltrops is a void area that gets spawned near you, like between you and the combatant, and then when it dies, it throws out another one. So something to make it so you either need to get up in the air or keep going through.
So, starting with retaliation.
Yeah.
If I die, you're coming with me. Pretty much. All right, next up, what do we got?
Yeah, let's do Subtle Foes. So this just makes it so that when some of the enemies are far away from you, they will be invisible, and that helps them get into close range, or if you are using a long-range loadout, you won't be able to deal with them as much, so you might want to get some close range.
And they're like very invisible. Not like,
not like...
It's interesting to see like how they've changed things up.
Yeah, you really have to like pay attention to see.
What else do you want to do? Yeah, let's do Glass Cannon. So Glass Cannon is kind of a fire team equalizing one where it only punishes the person who's doing the best. So if you have that buddy that, you know, clears the strike ahead of you or is getting all of the kills, well, we're actually going to give him a debuff where he will just take more incoming damage. And if you are a little bit
very cool,
friends, then that's actually a catch-up opportunity where maybe you
I will admit I start to drop off when we get into modifiers, like
killing all of your kills, I'm putting a bit of a debuff on myself.
Right.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah, true.
And maybe I'm letting you finish a few of those.
Yep. All right.
What else? Let's do one more. Chill Touch. Yeah, so we were talking about getting the enemies into melee, so this will make it if they hit you in melee, you will suffer a stasis debuff and slow down.
Awesome.
And that pushes the power all the way up to 360. And those things are also increasing the potential score that you can receive from this, and the score is what drives the reward.
Right. So you see right here when we picked Chill Touch, the gear tier you're going to earn went from tier 2 to tier 3 for this activity.
Oh wait, so we
pay attention to what you're earning.
Yeah. So
have they changed light level now back to power?
And this is like we've talked about this last week on stream about approach
like what it was in D1.
Players to understand as they're getting in. So a lot of
yeah, I agree. I would like to see in context of it.
Combatant power and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, tons of love and passion went into that.
Seriously.
Yeah. So let's look at player stakes. Oh, do you want to take this?
Oh yeah. So player stakes are the next category down, and they're more about the player's interface with the game itself. So
to be honest though, right? Like I think it's good they show us this. There's a lot of players who will complain that like, where's the content? Like, where's the things we've asked for? And I think this is them showing that.
One arm behind your back while you're playing. It's not making the combatants more powerful. It's changing how you're playing the game. You can start with no ammo. You can start with luck loadout. We'll be putting some more player stakes.
I agree. The name hasn't changed, but
yeah.
I love No HUD. You're gonna talk about it first, aren't you?
Well,
no HUD. Oh yeah, Sammy Cat will love that.
I just wanted to have us move on to the next bit because we've talked about tying one hand behind your back.
Talk about No HUD later. Go ahead.
Okay, but in the next bit, this is what you get to do with your other hand. So here are the things that benefit you.
Oh, so all those modifiers were like against you? Jeez.
For amplified that you had in the Nether, along with
that's pretty okay.
So we buffed up the enemy's melee capability that hopefully they'll get up and punch you. Well, now if they do, we're just going to shock them with lightning. So I'm kind of balancing out that additional challenge that we added and a different benefit that will kind of counter that and make it so it's actually a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
What else can we do? Healing finishers are great. Just another way to get back health, or if you go in for that finisher and take damage on the way, that you'll be able to fill back up. And let's do one more. And sure, hypercritical is pretty fun. This one is actually a little bit tough because it makes it so that the enemies will take less non-precision damage, but more precision damage. So as long as you're hitting your shots, it's easier.
Awesome. And then Ben, we actually
That's the most confusing statement I've ever heard. That sounded like an oxymoron to me.
Limited time, right?
Yeah. So this is a accelerator that this is a double bonus focus. So you're gonna second drop from the bonus focus activities. So this is we will have given the calendar different accelerators that are on for a given week or day that will apply to the whole portal and have different benefits. And we're also gonna have more of those for events and other things going on in the game.
Ooh, events. Okay, so we are getting public events back. I was waiting for that. It's literally my jam. I honestly just care about public events.
Rehearsal was a bonus to Suros weapons too.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of there can be loot bonuses, there can be gameplay bonuses of more power behind certain weapon archetypes. It's pretty fun. So stay tuned to our calendars. We'll definitely sound off when it's a week of a cool theme. Let's get it launched in and actually start taking on some of this combat.
Can I talk about No HUD now?
Oh yeah, please.
Okay, so they aren't going to show No HUD because it'd be confusing, I think, on the stream. But No HUD is a great example of something you can engage with if you want to, because it's a challenge. It gives your score more opportunity to get better loot. But
I love that they literally added a mode in because they had a player who preferred to play the game that way.
With the character and the gunplay, and that's a good analogy for what we're intending all the modifiers you're selecting to do. That it's going to let you set up a situation like that he was talking about, enemies have chill touch, but I'm going to have live wire to counter it and create these cool little gameplay moments that are really something that you choose for how you want to play for really awesome loot.
Yeah, and Alan, when we were talking through some of these modifiers, we've taken an inspiration from a ton of different places.
Yep.
No HUD in particular, shout out to Sammy Cat.
Yep.
Called her out last week for all the bows we were
There you
showing
go.
up, but also No HUD.
And
Literally getting a shout out in stream.
only loadout modifier coming in the future too. We really do want to look at how people are playing the game, whether they're creators playing on stream or people playing at home, and really try to let them set up the challenge for themselves, how they want to do, right? Whether it be challenge modifiers, stakes, or the boons.
Yeah. How often are we going to be adding more modifiers to the portal?
Well, we're going to have some new modifiers coming with events. And we're going to be adding new modifiers with the mid-season update with Ash and Iron.
Yeah, that major update, yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on them pretty constantly along with the rest of the team. So it was every few days that another either Bane would come online or modifier, and we'd have to go playtest that, which was a pretty big playtesting lift to try all these combinations and make sure that there aren't any rough edges when you combine some things that maybe we hadn't thought about when we were initially designing them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff that players will find that we won't. We're accepting that.
Yep.
Yeah, we have our challenge for Esoteric or Mork or a couple of the other high-skill creators of what can you throw on to make this difficult, and can you actually complete it?
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be fun watching those playthroughs. Ben, paired with that, how often are we going to have more activities being added to the portal?
Yeah, so we want to regularly refresh the portal on so that there's stuff coming online on somewhat weekly cadence. We're gonna have kind of a weekly new stuff coming online for the first few weeks, and then when events come in, they're gonna have big changes lots of new modifiers or portal-wide effects. Some are going to come with activities as well, but we're also going to be every major update. We're going to have new activities that come in, and we're also going to have shakeups of existing ops formats. And we're going to have a really cool new activity that's paired with an event at Ash and Iron launch. I'm not going to talk about right now, but I think is really fun. That's going to be an exemplar of hey, we're shaking things up.
I really hope that
the classics Destiny fault that we're bringing out.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was like, is that a solar AR he was using? I was like, well, have we always had that?
And we're going to be moving on to power and progression, so what you're earning, which is, people love loot. Nutty, thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to give you just anything else you want to say before you leave?
I definitely want to shout out the rest of the Sandbox team, not just those of us that were working on additional modifiers and bans, but like that playtesting lift, we had everybody across Sandbox disciplines in all of those playtests to try and hit as much of this as possible. And I wanted to re-emphasize how impactful some of the modifiers can be. Specifically, I'm thinking back to what we were just playing in live with attrition modifier in Prophecy Week 1, because when we moved to Prophecy Week 2, my fire team had gotten so accustomed to killing enemies and having a little health pickup on the ground that we had to play that final fight completely differently and use cover way more because we couldn't just kill some enemies and run through them to fill back up. Normally, I would think of attrition as a lot more of a challenging modifier, but
yeah, that solar AR, wow. It's even, is it homing as well?
more beneficial to us than we were
It's definitely new, yeah.
The side of like attrition is challenging to me, and when it goes away, I'm like, oh, hey, fire team, let's let's go for it.
And if that makes it too hard for you to get your rewards, then just you toggle it off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about like what you're comfortable playing with, and also what your style is for, and your build, and what your mood is too. Like we're giving a lot of player agency to that.
Right, and speaking of player agency, so I would love to see your feedback, like what ones are you engaging with, what ones are you enjoying more, what ones feel like they are actually rewarding to do, and what ones feel like we could punch them up a little bit, because that's what we'll probably keep working on.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Chat, everybody scream, thank you, Nutty. We're going to swap you off and get our power and progression individual in, so
thanks.
Thank you so much. While we're doing this transition, Ben, I would love to ask you, what activities could players find in Pinnacle Ops?
Oh, yeah. So Pinnacle Ops has, at Edge of Fate launch, it is going to be filled with exotic missions. And some exotic missions from
Interesting.
and previously as well.
Why are we getting so many exotics in Edge of Fate?
All the systems we're talking about, all the difficulties, all the modifiers, and intended to be, like, not only something that is...
I'm just gonna mute the sound for a second, but I remember a tweet from, yeah, I think it was Gotholian, and he was talking about not liking the idea of exotics becoming more accessible to people, and I think Edge of Fate is literally the expansion for exotics becoming more accessible to people.
I want, or these are I want, whatever I want, whatever I'm feeling like right now, and we're gonna have more to Pinnacle Ops in the future with Ash and Iron that we're not gonna talk about today. So it's actually a good example of like, hey, we're making this new section of the game that we're gonna just keep on building in and tinkering with over time.
Awesome. I sense a segue. We were talking about Pinnacle Ops
into the next
Pinnacle
category.
Power. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the couch.
Hello. Hi, I'm Josh Galinsky. I'm a staff systems designer.
Josh!
I've been here for about 5 years.
It's good to see him on a
I
stream.
really work with a lot of our loot, our gear, your power and progression, as you mentioned. Like,
This guy is awesome.
what are your rewards?
It's good people.
What's the candy you get at the end of your activities and stuff like that? So we spent a lot of time reworking a lot of our stuff in the Edge of Fate, and really 900, or 900 is what the eternal thing is, but we made big changes to how you engage with power in Destiny. One thing you'll all notice is, I think many of our creators have already noticed in the past, that there has been a power squish. We've reset players down to 10. Like, that is not only to give everyone kind of a fair and equitable starting place, and to kind of like reset the engagement with power. Also, 2020 power is not exactly the most friendly starting
not
point.
easy to understand if you haven't been along for the ride.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So, like, this is the beginning of a new saga. It's the beginning of a new thing here. So we're starting off there. It gives, like, all Guardians on equal footing with each other, and allows us to kind of build up. You're going to have...
Yeah, I think it's really important that they did
Intrinsic cap, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
reset our power.
Go and do any activity you want across the game in order to get to that point. Once you get past that, then you enter the seasonal bonus power band, which is where you're going to have to start doing more of the portal activities.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shutterfinch, that like it's important that everybody has access to the same tools. You know, it's not like Destiny has a founders pack that like a whole bunch of us paid for. Sorry, it's like background noise. I don't know if that's coming through or not, but
up until not Rise of Iron, but Ashen Iron, like
you say Rise of Iron. That's hilarious.
then you're going to be able to go
we're talking about seasonal power, is that replacing the artifact power that we have?
Exactly. Like, we did simplify power a little bit further by taking power off of the artifact, and that allowed us to take the power we had there and put it back into the gear. So really, it streamlines it. It makes it so you're only worrying about your gear power as far as your engagement with that. So it just takes one additional level of complexity out of the system.
Yeah, and speaking of just like that power climb, like our pinnacle sources have been updated to actually fit and give more agency, correct?
Absolutely. So one of the things I think, if you're a longtime Destiny player, you're very used to the pinnacle grind. And you're also used to the limitations that the pinnacle grind puts on you, and like some of the like intricacies that come with that. Like, there's been many seasons in the past where, you know, I really needed that drop of the boots to come from the thing, and I do my pinnacles, I didn't get my boots. Well, not only are you able to more target farm individual gear pieces now, but also the limit of the pinnacles is no longer a thing. We're gonna have some.
Were there two Elixni just stood on top of each other just then?
As a guardian, so you can
That was the weirdest. What was that?
Gear. But really, once you get past that, you can keep going.
Yeah, like everything in the portal is a source.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as you want.
Keep it as the base and move forward. I think it's definitely important.
How you perform and how challenging you make the activities to be how far you can go.
Right. It's gonna. You still have to achieve that score as you go up in power for the higher difficulties, get that better loot.
Right.
And we'll still have curated experiences, correct? So if a player doesn't necessarily want to spend a bunch of time like creating that challenge, we have those offers too.
Yeah, yeah, and like we do have like matchmaking, which is like set modifiers for every activity that has not.
Ooh, this auto rifle. That's a Braytech auto rifle as well, by the way. Is that that might be reprised?
Modifiers are set, but we have more than that too. We have conquests, and those are set.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Just a fun note, we've seen a ton of feedback over the years about players want to play Strike solo, and now...
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of going along with the idea of being player-driven, if you don't want to play a strike, like a Grandmaster Nightfall-esque strike, or even like early like difficulties with other players, you don't have to. You can just play it by yourself. You can take as long as you want within the confines of like the modifiers you've chosen to complete the activity.
I think they have just won a massive audience by making Destiny a solo playable game as well. And even within lore it makes sense with dredgens and stuff.
Fusion is changing in the last blog, which, by the way, you should go read it. Can you give a high level for folks that didn't catch the blog? What's changing?
Yeah, at the highest level, upgrade modules are no longer a part of that infusion thing. They're still going to continue to exist in the game. They can still drop from legacy content, but you can dismantle those for, I think it's an enhancement core in like 1500 Glimmer. And so, like, those are still there. We're going to have a new unstable core currency that's going to exist, and you're going to use that in addition to enhancement cores in order to you know, infuse your gear up for the season.
Okay, and a bit of Glimmer too, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh my gosh, so they've made the upgrade process even more difficult?
It allows us to just have more texture over things, and one thing I should call out is that seasonal power does reset at the end of this thing, and players will be reset back to 200 when Renegades comes out.
Got it.
So
cool. Yeah, I think just
wow.
Last note on the power climb. So during our reveal event,
so
and how you can actually power up in
Sharfinch, correct me if I'm wrong, in D1 was everything like, it was like power level 100 and then up, right? So they've essentially returned us back to that system in terms of our light level, I'm assuming, because they haven't shown us any visuals of that yet. They're just talking about it.
With Edge of Fate launch and the core game and the Crucible ops that we have, which is a bunch of playlists inside of it, you're going to be able to like start from that power.
Aura Dawn, interesting loot that he just got.
Power drops. You'll go up and you'll eventually get higher tier, be able to get like really great sets of gear that will then be as good as like anything else that you can find in the game. And you can just play Crucible all the way to the power cap if you want to. We are going to ask you to perform as you go to get more consistent rewards, but it's totally possible.
Yeah, and Josh, you mentioned before too of like trials and competitive Crucible are going to be ways to accelerate. Right?
Absolutely. If you're putting yourself in the pools with the like higher skill players and challenging yourself, that's how you're going to get your faster rewards. And not to mention the Trials armor sets and stuff, like they're really cool this time around.
Yeah, we have a unique armor set for Crucible, for Trials. We have weapons, a bunch of cool rewards coming up, and we'll have a preview of that.
Nothing for Gambit though.
Just gear if you didn't notice. But now we have a good moment to look at our seasonal hub. Alan, I'm going to ask you to actually walk us through this.
Yeah, sure. If you notice the seasonal hub up there at the top of the portal screen, if you click into that, you come to the hub, which you're going to have a bunch of daily challenges and weekly challenges, and those are going to give you XP, they're going to give you Bright Dust, they're going to give you extra drops on a portal activity, but it's going to give you progress towards the weekly reward track there. And the weekly reward track has lots of currencies and powerful drops on there, but it also has, if you tab to the next one, is going to have some Vanguard Armory and Arsenal tokens, which give you bonus drops from Zavala from the list of weapons or armor you can get from these activities that are going to be higher tier, and they're going to be a higher power than you can get from even getting the best grade in there. So you'll want to be doing these, and these refresh every week and get 2 pieces of armor and 2 weapons every single week.
Yeah, and this track is free, correct?
Wow.
It's all good.
Okay. This is the level of fidelity they've added here is pretty insane.
Now there's 2 on Expert, 2 on Master, and 2 on Grandmaster, and these are effectively your Grandmaster replacements in the portal. These are going to be fixed power, fixed modifiers, no fire team power, and you get really good rewards for completing it. You'll get 4 higher tier engrams.
Yeah, this looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, those are higher power, but you'll only be able to get it one time. But these are really about your journey through the season. As you level up, you can take on the first expert one, and then the next expert one, and then the master, and then master 2, and then finally the 2 grandmasters. And with Ash and Iron, we're going to be bringing more grandmaster and ultimate conquests, which will allow you to complete the conqueror.
I will be right back.
Quick gameplay team, if you could go back to the modifiers that you were just hovering over. This was a really good example of a quality of life feature that came about. We saw a ton of feedback around modifiers like, I'm squinting at these icons, I don't really know what they mean. And now we have them bucketed based on the portal options, so you can more easily identify these things and understand them.
Yeah, and shout out to the UI UX team for like making a really much cleaner look for activity launch than having this cool bucket to look at them. Like, I think it's really good, really good.
Cool. And then there was one more section on the seasonal hub, one more tab down low for the Conqueror Seal.
Yep. So the Conqueror Seal is down here. You're going to be completing the conquest during the season to earn and gild your Conqueror Seal. And since this is still the Conqueror Seal, it's going to maintain its old gilding. So this is going to be continual.
Awesome. Yeah. 14 seasons of Conqueror. Now we're going to keep on going, baby.
Oh my God.
Awesome. So I'm going to say we still have a couple topics to cover. Fire Team, let's go ahead, launch into an activity in Fire Team Ops. Throw on a couple modifiers that you want to go for. Mix and match. I'd love for players to see as you go through how the score is changing, how the rewards can scale, all that kind of stuff. Just have a fun time. For the folks on the couch, we already went through the seasonal hub, the rewards. We are also having a moment in time where Guardian ranks are resetting.
Yes.
Yeah, if I could get a quick overview. One of you, I believe, Alan.
Yeah. So we took a look. So Guardian ranks, when we launched them, the first few ranks were about learning the game, and then the upper ones were about your seasonal journey and dealing with all the different kinds of things a player might do in Destiny. So we've stripped a bunch of those away and rebuilt objectives to be focused completely on the portal. So it's going to be playing through the various activities, using modifiers, playing all the different conquests, gaining power, gaining all the different kinds of rewards. It's going to be really showing like where you're at in that seasonal journey but purely for the portal. It's not going to reflect any dungeons. You're not going to have to solo any dungeons. You're not going to have to get commendations. See what else don't you have to do?
No more expansion gates.
No more expansion gates. Any of those kinds of things. So every player will be able to get up to Guardian rank 11 with Ash and Iron.
Yeah, in our original goals when we were talking about Guardian ranks, it was kind of an on-ramp for players new or even old. What do I want to do in Destiny right now? Now we have a lot of stuff in the portal that dovetails into that. Solo dungeons, they still have unique rewards. They're no longer required for 11 in Guardian rank, but you can still get ghosts sparrows, emblems. That
We're not taking anything away from the dungeons. We're taking away things from the Guardian ranks and adding different kinds of things back in. And since we're doing that, the first 5 ranks will still be sort of an on-ramp into the game. So we're going to drop everybody back down to Guardian rank 2 with Edge of Fate and let them go from there. There'll be lots of cool things to do and earn and play through in the first few ranks. And then starting with Ash and Iron, and every season from then on, we'll reset you back to 6, just like we've been doing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just another portion of what Robbie was talking about with aspiration, where it's like, I have my awesome armor from all these higher tiers. I have a new Guardian rank above my head. I've gone through the raid. I have this cool tier 5 weapon, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a ton to hunt, a ton to chase, and a lot of things to do. And I think at this point, it's kind of the easiest to get into Destiny and just know what to play. So
yeah, I absolutely believe that. And the exciting part is that everyone's journey through Guardian ranks is going to be kind of different, because a Guardian rank that tells you to accomplish this kind of power or complete this activity on this difficulty, how you did it will probably be pretty unique to you compared to other players, because you chose different modifiers. There's different sets available for the given day or week, and maybe you did it solo, like we're talking about. Like, you soloed the master difficulty, one of the requirements in Guardian ranks. Maybe you soloed on one of the conquests, and that's your story, and that's how you got it. But it's appropriate that there are a bunch of options for players to choose that match what their own experiences, what they wanted it to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. That actually brings us to the end of our Power and Progression. I believe, Josh, you actually had a couple more things you wanted to say before we left, though.
Yeah, really, there's 2 things I want to say. One is that, fire team power is definitely still a thing that's in this game. We really want to encourage you to play with your friends, and when you do play with your friends, if you're a higher power level than them, that's another thing that can act as a nice accelerator for them, and really, increase the bonds of friendship. That's like a core part of the DNA of Destiny, is being able to play with fellow Guardians.
Yeah, so as an example, if you're a tier 4 and I'm only tier 2, I join you, we do a tier 4 activity, I still get tier 2 gear, but it's accelerating me faster into tier 3.
You're going to hit your score a lot easier, which is going to help you get those bonus rewards. And
Got it. Cool. And then your second note?
And finally, we made a lot of changes to the game in the Edge of Fate. We're definitely going to be listening to you Guardians. We're going to be listening to the data. We're going to be listening to a lot of stuff. This is just the beginning of a new saga. So we've got a lot to do in the future, and I'm really excited about what's coming our way.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Yeah, great.
So I have a few bookkeeping topics to hit before we go about the live game. So we've been talking about the Edge of Fate. Right now, we have Rite of the Nine going on with our dungeons. And let's see here. Ooh, today, 54 minutes ago, we had a new engram go live, the non-airy engram. We introduced this in a previous TWID, but basically it's a new engram. You can earn a bunch of Rite of the Nine currency, and then purchase this engram for unique cosmetics that have been introduced over the past few years in Destiny. So if there are things like the skimmer that is Iron Banner theme, kind of like the wolf theme, that's actually in there, and you have a chance to get that. There are some Crimson Doubles emotes and finishers and other cosmetics, so definitely dive in and check that out. Additionally, we had mentioned Lootapalooza. So a couple weeks just before launch, we're going to start showering players with loot. Starting today, we have double Crucible loot, which also applies to Trials of Osiris. So if you're hunting for adepts, if you're hunting for any gear in Crucible,
they're really trying to get everybody in PvP.
We also have, for the weekend, a lot of players have been asking what maps are going to be featured. You got Dissonance, you got Cirrus Plaza, and then you have the last one, which is Eventide Labs. We had a great conversation about what if we had some type maps on a rotation for these last couple weeks. And for the final week of the season, we're going to have Burnout, Endless Veil, and community favorite Javelin 4. So Trials players rejoice. Players that may not have ever played Trials, get in, get your 4th Streak, get some adepts, try it out, and get some gear to loot up for the Edge of Fate. And the final note, we are going to have all dungeons in the Rite of the Nine experience next week. Higher reward rates, higher currency rates, helping you get more of those drops, go into higher difficulties for adepts, and potentially even get the hollow foil versions with additional perks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all on the couch for joining us.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you, crew. Thank you, gameplay. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes. And players, everybody out there watching, thank you. We have 14 days until the Edge of Fate. 14 days until a new saga. It has been a wild ride over the last 10 plus years of Destiny, and now we're putting our toe in for the next however many years we keep going, you know?
Here we go.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Much love. We're going to be doing a raid over to our good friend Malachi, so if you want to stick around, talk about the stream, Malachi, we're handing it off to you. Thank you everybody for joining, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. I mean, that was cool. That was a really good developer stream. I was really impressed with like the high level of detail that the teams put into what we can expect coming into Destiny, into Edge of Fate. I'm excited. I don't know about you all, but it's definitely going to be fun to see how this expansion is going to play out. As we've seen, there's like a lot of detail. A lot of detail has gone into what's being added. We heard about gear progression. We've heard about exotics. We've heard a lot about exotics. We've heard about modifiers. Really good stuff that's coming. We've briefly heard about Kepler. The Bungie seem to be like keeping things very close to their chest in terms of what we can expect. So yeah, a lot to see here. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and close out this stream. But yeah, it's been good fun, and really appreciate everybody who has stopped in, even if you viewed the channel for like a couple of seconds and was just like, hey, checking in, what's SarmLab doing? I know he has a video up. Go watch that if you haven't watched it yet. It's a massive lore video compendium, 2 hours long, all about the Nine, their history, all the connective narrative strings, and how it all ties into the Edge of Fate and beyond. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Be sure to give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and also feel free to click subscribe and the bell next to it to find out when my next lore video goes live. Remember that no matter what you face at this moment in time, you can do all things. Stay safe,